What's going on, guys? Spud here, and welcome to episode 21 of Spud Ball. I know it's been a while, alright? I thought that we would do a video today regarding the January transfer window and the 5 players that clubs might need to sign in January. I'll be honest, my Spud Balls have been very poor in recent months. Since we started the series, it's been a bit inconsistent. Obviously, on the channel, we've been uploading the roundup very consistently, and obviously quite a lot of Life is Strange videos and Walking Dead videos. But I thought we might as well do a video with the January transfer window because there's a few players that are being offered around and trying to get moves, and also a couple of players in this that isn't the case for, but potentially could massively improve clubs, but have been linked with moves away. I haven't just randomly added players in. If you do enjoy this episode of Spudball, please drop a like and subscribe if you're new. I've also tried to include some information that I believe is 100% correct. If it's not correct, though, please do let me know in the comments. So the first player that we're going to look at is Marcus Rashford, who had, obviously, he got 39 goal contributions for Man United in 22-23. He's very rarely injured, however, he's extremely inconsistent, and he's been very poor since 22-23. He's been linked with a potential loan move to Borussia Dortmund, AC Milan, and Juventus. I know Tottenham have been interested potentially in the past, but I don't believe that they're actually pursuing him. The main issue for Rashford is he is on over £300,000 a week, which is obviously going to put teams off signing him because of the excessive wage. In my opinion, I think obviously Rashford has also come out and said he needs a new challenge. He's not been included in any matchday squad except one where he didn't come on since he was dropped for the Manchester derby. Because of his wage, I can only see these teams willing to pay 40-50% of it at the maximum. Now, obviously, Rashford can play striker, left wing, right wing. He's a versatile forward, which is obviously very important. In my opinion, Juventus makes no sense. And because they've already got a really bright kid, and a wonder kid, in my opinion, of Kenan Yildiz, they've also got Samuel Mbulanga. I don't know if I've pronounced that right, sorry. If I haven't. And also, they also have on loan Chico Conceição, obviously son of now AC Milan manager Sergio. He's very rarely going to play up front because they've already got Dusan Vlahovic. And they still have Milik as well. So I think Milik's still there. Yeah, I would say no on Juventus. AC Milan. Now, AC Milan just won the Supercopa in Saudi Arabia. I hate the fact that it's played in Saudi Arabia, but it's there. So they've obviously got a few wingers already. Their main ones, obviously, Leao and Pulisic, both having really good campaigns. Does he start over any of those two? No. Now, AC Milan have a couple of strikers. Noah Okafor is going to Red Bull Leipzig. Morata's obviously been injured. He hasn't really worked out since joining. Tammy Abraham, who just scored the winning goal in that Supercopa final against Inter with a brilliant comeback. And Luka Jovic. So again, on the Marcus Rashford, I'm going to say no to AC Milan. I don't think it's worth it. Then we have Borussia Dortmund, which, if they're going to sell Daniel Marlon to Aston Villa, that will obviously leave a forward place open to be replaced. Now, obviously, the striker, he's not going to play over Guirassy or Bayer. Left wing, obviously, they've got Jamie Gittins, who we might be talking about very shortly in this same video. And then obviously they've got Marlon on the right. And they've also got like other players that can play in their areas like Giovanni Reina. But I would say out of all the options, Dortmund is probably the one that I could see Rashford going to the most. And I think that league would suit him as well. With how Rashford plays, I think he would play really well in the Bundesliga. So we'll have to see what happens. And as I said, the next player is Jamie Bino Gittins. So he's on 12 goal contributions so far for Borussia Dortmund this season. He's only 20, he's an English winger. He's predominantly on the left. Very quick, he's a good dribbler. He's improving every season. He's been in the Dortmund first team for a couple of seasons now. This feels like his major breakout season. There has been some links with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Aston Villa. Now, Liverpool, I can't see it unless they were to sell Darwin Núñez, which obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I'm assuming and hoping that will be by the summer. Now, because Luis Diaz looks quite good in that centre forward role, it could end up being the fact they sign a left winger instead. So then they have Gakpo and the left winger, Jota and Diaz, and then hopefully it'll be Salah and Chiesa, but we never know. I still think Salah will stay. We're not going to talk about that in this video. Maybe we can do a future video on the contracts if they're still not done. Aston Villa, yeah, I could see him playing for Villa, but I think this guy's good enough to play in the Champions League, so it depends if Villa are still getting Champions League football. I think he could do a good job at Arsenal, but I think Arsenal need a striker before they sign a winger. But he's definitely one to name. I was going to go for Marlon, but I went for Gittins instead, just because I thought it's a bit more of an interesting one. Next, we've got someone that I really want at Liverpool, but it doesn't sound like it's going to happen, which is ridiculous from Liverpool. The board, as always. Milos Kerkez, strong and quick defender. He's got 4 goal contributions this season in the Premier League, and he only cost him around £18 million from AZ Alkmaar. He's only 21 years old, and he's been one of the best fullbacks in the league this season, alongside like Lewis Hall, Robinson, like left backs, that is, sorry. But he's still one of the best fullbacks anyway. He's been linked with Liverpool and Man United. Now, obviously, apparently he has like family connections to Man United, so that could mean he goes there. But obviously, Liverpool will be the one offering Champions League football next season, most likely. And he's obviously very good mates with the Hungarian captain and Liverpool playmaker Dominic Szoboszlai. So we'll have to see what happens there. But Milos Kerkez is definitely one that I could see them potentially going for. But it probably would be in the summer for a move, just because they've obviously just signed Julio Soler from Lanús. Very good Argentinian left back that I think can be as good as Kerkez. So have they just signed his understudy 6 months early? Yeah, they might have. They're probably expecting Kerkez to leave in the summer anyway, but you never know. If a bid comes in January, they might accept it. This was the odd link out of the 5, though, I think. And I've gone for Mark Gahey because he's obviously a very good defender and he's the captain of Palace. The club rejected a 70 million offer from Newcastle in the summer, which I find crazy, by the way. He has 18 months left on his deal. He had 2 years left on his deal and they rejected that much money. I don't understand it. He has now been linked with Chelsea recently, who sold him in 2021. Now, the reason that he's been linked with Chelsea is because Fofana's injured. They're starting to drop points. You know, Torsin's not really the standard that Chelsea want as a first team player, like a starter for them. Badiashile is also injured, so they've even tried Joshua Chempong against Crystal Palace. But there is talks that, you know, could Gahey come back to Chelsea? I mean, I could see it potentially, but how much would they be willing to offer and how much would Crystal Palace want? Because in the summer, he'll be 12 months away from being a free agent. They've got to take that into consideration. If he's not going to sign a deal, they need to take the money. Obviously, the last guy that we're going to talk about, this was the guy I wanted to talk about in the most detail. It is Randall Kolo Muani. So 17 goal contributions in 54 games for PSG is definition of a flop. I think for the amount of money that was paid, he is one of the worst signings in football history. He cost 90 million euros including add-ons and is now frozen out of the PSG squad by Luis Enrique, who prefers Gonzalo Ramos, and they want to use that money. They also play with the false 9 sometimes, Desiree Doué, Kangin Lee. Kolo Muani, no chance of getting back into that squad. Now, could he potentially return to that Frankfurt form which saw PSG pay that money for him? He got 40 goal contributions in 50 games for the German side. And obviously, if you look at how good Omar Marmoush has been doing recently, who it sounds like he's going to be leaving in January to go to Manchester City, could Kolo Muani go to the Premier League just like Marmoush is? Now, just like Marmoush as well, Kolo Muani is a versatile forward. I will be honest, I put this all together before this news from various sources that City are pursuing Marmoush. Obviously, there was pursuing that Uzbekistanian, if that's even a word, the centre back from Uzbekistan, from RC Lon as well. But I didn't include Marmoush because I didn't think he would leave until the summer. So, yeah. So, obviously, Kolo Muani needs to find a new club. He can play on the left, he can play up front, for definite. He's been linked with Tottenham, Man U, and Juventus. Now, just like Rashford, I can't see Kolo Muani in the Juventus shirt, but I think there's more chance of him being in the Juventus shirt than Marcus Rashford because he's predominantly a striker. Now, Manchester United is an interesting one because of how Amorim plays now. He doesn't really play with proper wingers, it's more like 10s. I can't see him being as a 10, so he would have to play up front. Now, is he better than Højlund and Xerxes? I would say yes. I think he is better than Højlund and Xerxes. But people are going to look at the fact that he flopped at PSG, which is the French league, and say it's not a bad purchase. But then they bought Agate from PSG, who was a flop at PSG. And Kunku was a flop at PSG, and then he did really well for Red Bull Leipzig. Obviously, he's kind of been a flop for Chelsea, but that's not the point. I think Man United should go for it if they could get him. It looks like they want a loan with an obligation to buy if that's what they have to get. But they do not want Colin Wani at PSG anymore. They want to recoup as much of the money as possible and reinvest it in the squad. He's still a youngster. I think he's still a young forward. He's only like 24, 25, I'm pretty sure. So I think he's 25 or around there. So he's still got plenty of years. Now, Tottenham is the club he should go to. Son is getting older. They've just extended his 1-year deal, but he's not as good. He can obviously play left wing. He's a bit of a similar build to Richarlison a little bit, like in terms of he can play striker and left wing. Solanke sometimes, you know, if Solanke's out, they've got Richarlison, who's always injured, and Son, who's getting older, that can also play up front. So I think Colin Wani could do a job there. I also think like Timo Werner, that loan was a disaster. This would be a proper good player to have in your squad that you would not have an issue starting a game. They could end up doing Colin Wani, Solanke, Kulusevski, or Johnson could play right wing. They could play Richarlison, Colin Wani. Do you know what I mean? I think Spurs should go for this, depending on the price, of course. If it's a loan with an obligation, if the obligation, realistically, because of how poor he's been, is around, we're going to do it in euros as well, just because of the situation. If it is about 45 million euros, I believe Tottenham should take this on. Now, I know they have a lot of attackers. They just signed Wilson Odebear as well. But I think Colin Wani would be a very good signing for Tottenham. Obviously, you guys might not agree with that, but I think he would be. So that is going to be the end of this video of Spud Ball. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Let me know any players that you think could leave their clubs in January and which team should take advantage of this. And will any of these players, when they do eventually move club, be a success? Let me know down below. Thanks very much for watching and have a great rest of your evening. Bye for now.